Whoops, better put on my newsman fedora here.
Indie Hunters headlines. Let's get right into the news. This is 5 headlines that I felt were worthy of sharing with the small but very passionate Indie Hunters audience.
Mm-hmm.
Since I don't know, like these are related to games that have been featured on Indie Hunters, and some that aren't. It's not just all Indie Hunters, but it's just shit that looked cool and I thought it'd be worthy of sharing.
Sure.
So the first one is Pulcra Vermis Re. So Pulcra Vermis was a student project game we played, last year sometime. It's been quite a while since we played it.
Yeah.
By Paragon Earth, and despite its kind of amateurish quality to it, it was still really fun, really enjoyable. And since then, Paragon Earth has been working on a remake of the game called Pulcra Vermis Re. And it's looking quite good. It's shaping up to be something really cool and impressive. I've been following the devlogs and reading them every time they come out.
Yeah, as have I, and I'm also excited to see the fruits of their labor.
Mm-hmm. Looks like it's going to be really cool, but even cooler, it was announced in this most recent devlog that Paragon Earth is aiming for a publishing date in early July, which is not far off.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty hype about that. I had offered the idea of him holding off on its release until October, because to me, indie games seem to do very well on itch.io, especially during the Halloween season.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently Pulcra Vermis Re is also a student project, and there's no way he can hold it off until October to publish it. So I had no idea that Pulcra Vermis Re was also a student project. Maybe it's the second year of this program or something. I didn't gather that information. But early July, look forward to it. And
Absolutely.
if you want to follow the devlogs, you can follow Paragon Earth on itch.io, or you can follow him on his recently created Twitter at Pulcra Vermis, which I didn't even know he created until like a week ago. He could have said something about it.
That's funny.
So, in other news, itch.io has hosted a game bundle entitled The Bundle for Racial Justice and Equality, and it boasts 740 works by 560 plus creators and $3,400 in value, and climbing. Apparently, I've learned from your tip off that they're gonna still be adding games to this bundle.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ, do you think this bundle's big enough? Like, holy shit.
That's true. It's absolutely massive.
Yeah, $3,400, and the minimum donation to get all 560 some games is $5. And they aim to raise $5 million. And the proceeds will be going to the NAACP Legal Defense and Education, and the fund, I can't even read my fucking handwriting. Oh, the Community Bail Fund, in a 50-50 split between the two charities, funds, whatever you want to call them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're at 55% of the goal. So big ups for raising some $2.5 million.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like it's only been going for a few days, and the first day I looked at it, it was, had a goal of like 500K, and it was at like 100K. I was like, oh wow, I'm getting a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And then like it's like exploded way beyond that. So it's just so big, and it's such a great value too. I mean, if you're, it's a great cause.
Yeah.
But it's also, a lot of games for for very little money if you're looking for that sort of thing.
Yeah, even if you care nothing at all about politics, this is still $5 for some banging fucking games, and
Yeah.
we know because we played some of them on Indie Hunters,
Mhm.
some repeat offenders, if you will, from the games to help you stay inside sale that started a little while back.
Mhm.
So $5, yeah, and they've raised 2.5 million with such a small threshold amount. $5, it's pretty
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
55% of its goal, an $11 average, pretty good,
Mhm.
and 241,000 contributions so far, and
Wow.
one baller contributed $5,000 for the games. So
Whoa.
big ups to that person.
Nice. Nice.
So yeah, it's definitely something worth looking at, and it ends in 7 days. So you still have some time to decide on that if you want to get those games or not. But I say you definitely should.
Yeah. Um, and I got my own headline in relation to that. I know we talked about how there are a lot more things coming to the bundle
Mm-hmm.
still, but one of the things I can specify verified on Twitter is Pico 8, the virtual console that we all love on Indie Hunters, is going to be added to the bundle.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, then it's definitely worth your $5 or however much you feel like contributing.
Yeah, sure.
Any word on if Noodle Blaster is going to be added to that bundle?
We're still waiting to hear from the devs on that one. But everyone's got our fingers crossed. You know, we really want to play Noodle Blaster.
Noodle Blaster. Oh my god. Yeah, so check it out. You can find it right on the front page of or not itch.com, itch.io.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a link that'll take you straight to the page with all the games, and you can even go over all 500 if you so fancy. But yeah, pretty good deal if you ask me.
Yeah.
In other news, ya boys, Ice House put out a new game, and to be upfront, this headline thing was supposed to happen last week or even earlier before that, because this was the headline that kind of spurred it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the Ice House published Boinihi, the K'i Codex, on itch.io, and I also believe on Steam as well. And I thought it'd be pretty cool to spread the word on that, because we're fans of the Ice House, but we're not necessarily going to get to the Boinihi, the K'i Codex, just immediately. It might be some time before we do,
Mm-hmm.
but we wanted to spread the word that it's out there if you're a fan of Kataif the Kunshi Experiment, or if you're a fan of Myst-like games. We'll talk more about it, but I wanted to show off the trailer for your viewing pleasure. So let's take a look at that. So, yep, another entry in the Black Cube series. I just learned that group of games had a name, the Black Cube series.
Okay.
Created by Simon Mesnard of the Ice House. It's not
Mm-hmm.
the entire Ice House, just one room of it.
Okay. All right.
And if you buy a copy on itch.io, you get a free Steam key, which is pretty poggers.
That is awesome. Yeah.
And it also includes some goodies, quote unquote, MP3 video DVD cover. I'm guessing that's an MP3 of the OST and a video file of all the video clips, maybe?
Hmm.
And apparently a comic book as well. I'm guessing digital.
Hmm.
But a pretty cool world building thing, a comic book.
Yeah.
And it is available on itch.io and Steam for $17.99. So pretty pricey, but I'd say you get your money's worth with these Black Cube games from
Yeah,
my
they have a lot of
experience.
They have a lot of production value for sure.
Yeah, and assuming you don't use the miscellaneous tools, you'll be playing it for quite a while.
Yeah, it's true.
It's a good game to keep you inside. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah,
Yeah. Hey, the thing that was keeping you inside hasn't gone away, so we still need those games to keep us inside.
it's true.
So check it out. The Ice House, Boinihi, the K'i Codex. Shit. In other news, someone commented on a video of mine on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And,
And that's the news.
yeah. Well, it's pretty funny. I got a comment in Portuguese on my Dungeon Drafters vid, and I had to use Google Translate to find out what it was saying. I'm pretty sure, though, we were speaking English in that video. I don't remember us breaking out into Portuguese halfway through.
I did. Sorry, that was me.
Nevertheless, I did figure out what it was, what the secret message encoded was. And it was a comment left by Thiago Liddell asking me to check out his pixel art indie horror game entitled ENEFN, ENEFN. That one, again, I did not get a pronunciation for, but ENEFN if you're searching for it. And it looked pretty cool from what I saw, but as I was researching it, I found that it has a Kickstarter campaign going on right now that he didn't mention at all, which I thought was pretty weird.
Yeah.
I'd think it pertinent to mention that if you're gonna pimp out your game somewhere.
Sure.
But it has a Kickstarter going on for a very meager $300. So no $10,000 goal, $50,000 goal like some other choice Kickstarters we've explored recently.
True. Yeah.
And it's raised $41 so far with 39 days to go. And the project looks pretty nifty, pretty spiffy. And if you're just interested in getting the game, which is usually the case for me, I'm not too big on getting t-shirts and collectibles and whatnot. I look for the lowest tier with the game, maybe the game and the OST. And you can get the game for Steam, Android, or iOS for $10 once it comes out. But as I was researching the game more, I found out that it's apparently available for iOS right now for $1. Which really baffled me because there's a Kickstarter going on for its development, but it's already done on iOS, but the iOS version on Kickstarter costs $10. Pretty mystifying.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll reach out to him and ask him about that. Maybe the iOS version is a light version or something. I don't know. I could think up of reasons why, but I guess it would be better to just find out from the dude himself. Mm-hmm. And also the delivery date for the game is August 2020, which is pretty not that far off, if you ask me.
Sure.
And the game, seems somewhat involved, so I don't know if 2-3 months is a whole lot of development time left for it. So hopefully it doesn't turn into a Forsaken cancel. But let's check out a trailer for it, because it does look like a cool game despite this weirdness. Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah, that ending was a little baffling, but still creepy and fit with the rest of the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
But pretty cool shit. Pretty eerie and creepy and fucking gruesome for pixel art.
Sure.
Decapitated bodies pinned to walls and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks pretty cool, pretty scary. If that at all piqued your interest, you can check out the Kickstarter at kickstarter.com/ I don't know. Google it. Google ENEFN. And that's pretty much all I had to say, because I was looking for a possible demo to play on Indie Hunters to give some more exposure, but I don't think there's any playable build unless that iOS dollar app thing is, but neither of us have Apple products to play it, so we might have to pass on that.
Yeah.
But I wish the Kickstarter well, and hope it gets funded. Shit. So, I guess now we're gonna move on to the meat of the the headlines.
The meat and potatoes, if you will.
Yeah, this is the main entree. This isn't even a headline so much as a story. A Chris Hansen breaking story, breaking news, bro. So, there was a 2-year jam hosted by Gurpreet Singh Matharu, and it was indeed 2 years, legit 2 years, from May 19th, 2018 to May 19th, 2020. This fucking potato jam ran. It's called the 2-year jam, and the theme is potatoes, so it's technically not the potato jam, but that's what we have christened it.
Mm-hmm.
Only one rule: nothing not safe for work. So pretty lax on the rules for this jam. And there were 20 submissions, but only 16 of them are viewable. I don't know how that works, if perhaps 4 people retracted their submissions before the deadline or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, unfortunately, we only had 16 games to explore from this glorious jam. But they were pretty fucking dank, if I do say so myself.
It's a good way to put it.
Oh shit. Voting ends in 12 hours. Okay, so y'all better get your votes in before before tomorrow. Holy shit.
Yeah, you do not have much time here, folks.
Because I have written here 6 more days to rate the games, but that is not the case anymore. You need to get your votes in pronto.
Yeah.
So, both of us took a look at the potato jam games, just because it seems nobody else did. It says there's 1 rating for the jam, but I looked at every single game, and none of them had ratings, so I don't know where they get this 1 rating from. Unless somebody rated and retracted their rating, I have no fucking idea.
Mm-hmm.
But 16 games, we checked them out, and I wanted to share my thoughts on all the games, since I don't imagine a lot of people will be checking out these potato jam games. Which is a shame, because y'all are missing out on some excellent games.
Yeah, truly.
So I'm going to kind of lightning round through these. I don't want to spend too much time on them. Mostly because a lot of them aren't even worth like a whole minute.
Yeah.
But I wanted to pay my respects to all these brave potato programmers who submitted games for this epic jam. And I even took the time to play them and rate them on my own. And for me, my criteria for a good potato jam game were twofold. 1, it was only submitted to the potato jam, and 2, it has something to do with potatoes. Those are my 2 criteria for a good potato jam game.
Okay.
And you'll be surprised how many of those games failed that. So, first one we got is Cubic by Protorex. Was submitted 22 days, 8 hours before the deadline. Apparently it was the dev's first 2D game, and the dev time was about 3 days to make it. I played it. It felt like it randomly worked. There wasn't a whole lot I could do to influence my cube moving around. It was very touch and go, and I didn't really like it because of that.
Okay.
Also, I'm not a big fan of cube games where you just play as a literal cube jumping on cubes. It's a trope of jam games, but it really just irks me to see cubes. You could do anything else but a primitive what you're controlling.
Mhm.
I died on level 3 and the game soft locked, and I felt like that was adequate time with that game. It had nothing to do with potatoes, and it was submitted to 2 different jams, so it failed both criteria. So for me, it was out of the running. Next was the Irish Potato by The Real Jesus. Big ups to JC, am I right? Well, let me ask, did you have something to say about all the games, or just the ones that you thought shown?
I didn't check them all out, so I only got a couple
Okay.
to talk about.
Damn, bro, slacking off on the on the reporting. The Irish Potato by The Real Jesus, 83 days, 2 hours before the deadline. The dev time was 1.5. It failed to say 1.5 what. But to me, it was an okay little game. You're a potato moving around with arrow keys and dodging water. For some reason, it restarted me at the first level the second time I played it, but I swear to God, the first time I was playing it, it just restarted the level, not the whole game.
Mhm.
It really could have used some sound effects and music, in my opinion. But it did have to do with potatoes, so big ups, and it was only submitted for the 2-year jam, so double big ups. That's two thumbs up for me.
Okay.
Next we had 3 games I am not going to talk about.
Okay.
I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but these 3 games were what I like to call shotgun submitted to a bunch of different game jams on itch.io. So clearly they had no reverence for the 2-year jam. How dare you? They just thought, oh, 2-year jam, that's another jam I could tack on to jams I submit. Oh god, 11 hours 56 minutes. Jesus, the clock's ticking, bro.
That's right, folks. Better get them in.
Yeah, so so submitted to a bunch of different jams, and none of them had anything to do with potato. 3 games, nothing to do with potato. So this guy, you know who you are. You are awarded the potato of shame. That's what I give you and your 3 games.
Oh no.
Because you don't do that by accident. You don't accidentally submit your game to 10 different jams and submit 3 games to the same jam. 3 games to the 2-year potato jam. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
I guess there's no real problem with submitting to multiple jams, but it just feels tacky in my opinion.
Mhm.
Yeah, so potato of shame. Potato of shame. What would that be? Like a small red skinned potato or something like that?
Maybe like a rotten potato or something. Been sitting at the bottom of the barrel.
Fuck, yeah, that's what you get, bro. What, you think the potato jam is a joke, bro? You think you could just clout chase with your games in the potato jam? Wow, bro. That's
Shit all over 2 years of hard work that other people have done.
yeah. So for those reasons, all 3 games are disqualified, and I'm not even gonna tell you what they were about because it's that shameful.
Okay.
Well, you and the audience. If you're Confucius, if you're curious at all, you can check them out yourselves, but we will not give any more time to Potato of Shame recipients. So the next one we had was Mr. Potato in Potato Land by Crazy Duck Games. Not to be confused with Duck Block Games. Submitted 306 days, 21 hours before the deadline, so this was very early in the jam.
Yeah.
Took 2 to 3 months to make, because, as they say, they could only work on it a few hours every other day. And to me, the game was reminiscent of Donkey Kong and other old school arcade games like that. So in that regard, it's not too bad, but the controls killed it because they were so slippery and dodgy. But it was all right for what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it also did a shotgun submission. But it did have something to do with potato, so 1 thumb up.
Okay.
Next, next is The Jumping Man! Exclamation point 500 view special exclamation point by K-Splat. But I just saw right now today that its name has been changed to just The Jumping Man. No more 500 view special.
Mhm.
So that's a little sad to see. It's not as exciting anymore.
That's true.
So submitted 14 days 1 hour before the deadline, so quite late into the jam.
Mhm.
Made in 1 day apparently, and for a 500 view special, I'm guessing that's itch.io views. And bizarrely enough, when you play it, it asks in a little browser pop-up what platform you're playing on. Unfortunately, Ligma was not an accepted platform, so I just typed in PC. But
Mhm.
that's really bizarre. I don't think that's ever happened to me when I've played a game online. Or
Yeah.
not online, but in the browser.
Mhm.
But it's just a Flappy Bird clone with weird random gravity strengths when you jump, and basically unplayable. It looks pretty bad, and it had pretty horrible music, and it had a setting to turn it off, but the setting didn't work, so yeah, you just had to bear with it.
Okay.
And it was submitted to 4 different jams, and had nothing to do with potato, so 2 thumbs down.
Okay.
Unfortunately. Next, Do You Want a Potato by Mishmoosh is here. YT? What? Oh yeah, that is the name. Submitted 32 days and 9 hours before the deadline. Dev time 20 to 30 minutes. And it's a game, but it's a PowerPoint file that you download from itch.io with clickable elements to progress through the story. And I kind of like it. It was clever using a PowerPoint as a game engine. That's so bizarre to say, but that's what it was. It's fucking PowerPoint.
Right.
But it was pretty silly, nothing too grandiose, and it reminded me a lot of what I've written as Lamau XD games from the early 2000s, stuff you'd see on Albino Black Sheep that was just like, lol, potato XD, oh my god, it's a potato. Oh, now it's a potato. You know,
Right.
that kind of humor.
Uh-huh.
So, still, props for using a PowerPoint.
Yeah, interesting.
I like that. So obviously it had something to do with potato, and only submitted to the potato jam. 2 thumbs up. Catch Potatoes by Chara J was submitted 22 hours 57 minutes before deadline, so really late. Really had to get that game in, even though it took 10 days to develop. I guess it was like the last 10 days before the end.
Sure.
So in the game, you catch potatoes. The layout and controls really remind me of an old Game & Watch game called Egg, which is also available and modernized on Game & Watch Gallery 3 for Game Boy. You got 4 chutes dispensing eggs, and you catch them in a basket. Which to me is pretty exciting because I'm a big fan of Game & Watch games, but it's the hitbox for the basket wasn't very clear, and the potatoes sometimes just fell through, so it was more or less unplayable, and there was no sound at all, which is kind of sad because, you know, like LSI Kanoko, I do like these little Game & Watch games. But it did only submit to the potato jam and has to do with potatoes. Lord Potato by XNKCKR submitted 104 days, 21 hours before deadline. God, it's so fucking bizarre to be saying that 104 days before the deadline. Because most of these jams only run a weekend, a week, a month, maybe 2 months.
Yeah.
Not 2 fucking years.
Right. Yeah.
A 45-minute dev time. Jesus. But this one was also very interesting. If you launch the quote unquote game, you just get a potato and a bunch of other spinning little potatoes in this weird rainbow hypnotic pattern of potato.
Mhm.
Very bizarre, and one you just have to play to get it, to see it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really a game, but I don't know whether to qualify it or not because the rules didn't say it had to be a game. It's just a 2-year jam. It's not a 2-year game jam. So
Yeah.
the jury's out on that one. But it did have to do with potato and was only submitted to the 2-year jam. So props. 3D Potato by Tom Wren is kind of a similar story. 320 days, 2 hours before deadline, 1 day dev time. But this one is just a high poly potato model with a 1024 by 1024 texture, low poly collider mesh. It's just like an asset of a potato.
Hmm.
And it's a pretty good looking potato, so if you need a potato that has a high texture resolution but a low poly collider, this is the potato for you.
Okay.
Again, I don't think it's a game, but it is a nice potato, and it was only submitted to the potato jam, so 2 out of 2 thumbs up.
Okay.
Holy fuck. Alright. Sorry, this is going on way longer than I thought. I should have just reduced it to the people who met the 2 criteria.
Sure.
Fusion Lust 1.02 by MG Masterco was submitted 74 days, 15 minutes before the deadline, and apparently had a dev time of 2 months. This one was also interesting, but for different reasons, because it was an RPG made in Scratch, ported to JavaScript. Are you familiar with what Scratch is?
I know I've heard of it. Kind of forget what it is though.
It's essentially very simplified programming interface thing for students in elementary school, middle school, stuff like that.
Okay.
So you can make some very simple programs. Well, I guess that's not true because this dude made this thing in Scratch, and it's there's some complexity to it. It is trying to be an RPG, so I don't know what the limits of Scratch are, but
Mhm.
apparently it was made in Scratch and then ported to JavaScript so it could be playable on Itch.io.
Wow.
So I don't know what the process of doing that was, but it sounds pretty crazy.
Mhm.
Um, Also worthy of mention, another hot deal is you can become a beta tester for the game. There's 290 slots remaining on the page.
Ooh.
So you better jump on that dealio quickly.
Sure. Yeah.
There's well, let me see how many of those slots have been taken since I checked this out a week ago. 290. So nobody signed up since I looked.
Okay.
So I played it. You gather some resources, but I couldn't find a use for them. I saw there was a fishing pole in my inventory that I couldn't equip or do anything with, and I just got killed by the mangrove, and my health regen was really slow, and I just died.
Wow.
So functionally, not too good, but pretty impressive to see that made in Scratch,
Hmm.
especially by what I assume is a young programmer. So big ups for being ambitious in your projects. Maybe
Yep.
some beta testers will step up and help you with the ironing out the kinks.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's submitted to two jams, the Harvest Mouse Jam and the 2-year jam, and had nothing to do with potato. Likewise, Devil Devour Alive by Virtua Worlds submitted 17 days, 14 hours before the deadline. Some of these games are really cutting it close for 2 years.
I know.
It had a dev time of 13. We can at least assume that's not 13 years, otherwise it wouldn't have been submitted.
Right.
But it was a pretty interesting game with some nice PSX style graphics, low resolution, low poly. Really looked really cool. Really looked really cool. It looked really cool, but its gameplay was disappointingly simple. It amounted to just catch the egg falling out of the sky, basically, in your bucket. You move around, you slide around on the bottom of the screen. I wrote, it's akin to an Action 52 game, which I think is quite an apt way of describing it. But I thought about it again, and, it's a jam game, so maybe, simple game. I guess I can forgive it. But I feel like this dev studio or whoever makes the graphics needs to work on like a bigger project, like some RPG or some shit, because it really is a cool looking game. And I don't think it should, that dev team shouldn't limit themselves to just simple Action 52 games. They need to make something bigger and cooler.
Okay.
But they did a shotgun submission to God knows how many game jams, and Devil Devour Alive surprisingly had nothing to do with potato, if you can believe it.
Shocking.
Alrighty, so Potato Conversation Simulator by Blah Media. 1 year, 168 days before deadline. Dev time a few weeks. And like the name implies, you do have a conversation with a potato, asking questions like, can I eat you? Or mentioning, you're a spud, not a potato. And the dialogue branches are about two selections long. So there isn't too much to the game, and it also reminds me of a albino black sheep shitpost from the early 2000s. So in kind of a strange nostalgic way, I like it for that fact, but as a game, it's not too impressive, must say.
Okay.
But to its credit, it had to do with potatoes and was only submitted to the potato jam, and that's the first threshold. That's all we care about right now. So in that way, it's one. Project Genio by Morphe submitted 139 days, 4 hours before deadline. See, these last two were good boys who submitted very early in the jam. You're a cockroach running through a maze, and apparently, according to the description, the cockroach is looking for a potato because he likes potatoes. I wasn't a fan of that very mild use of potatoes. Kind of seems like it was just eking it in at the last minute. Oh, we got a cockroach running around. Oh, fuck, but we need potatoes. Hey, he's looking for a potato, maybe. I don't know, because I didn't reach the end of the maze. But maybe you do get a potato. I don't know.
Okay.
It did play well, but I didn't stick with it. Got a little too difficult towards the end. Or what I assumed was the end. I don't know. And it gets the 2 thumbs up for the 2 criteria. And the last one, finally, thank God this can be fucking over, is Potatoes ... by Finley Cameron, parentheses, basically Finn. Submitted 1 year, 286 days before deadline.
Now this is an early bird.
God. But this one's really interesting. 2.5 hour dev time. I don't know. I don't know if this was one of the ones you checked out, but it was interesting because it was created for the 2-year jam for a university project at USC, because the class was given 3 hours and told to choose a game jam, and create a game to learn about game scope. To me, that's a very cool exercise to be teaching future game devs, because it seems to be a common problem with game devs, and not being able to scope a game appropriate for the time frame you have to work on it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So really cool. Just your teams go look for a game jam, make a game for it, and you have 3 hours.
Sure, yeah.
God, that also sounds like a very stressful exercise to try and make a game in 3 hours.
I can't imagine. I I struggle to do tasks, simple tasks in 3 hours.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know what to reach for if I was given 3 hours to make a game.
Yeah,
I guess Unity, since that's what I'm most familiar with, but
yeah,
damn.
yeah,
Props to the people in that class.
yeah.
And props to Finley Cameron, because he did make his game on time.
Okay.
And he made it in Bitsy. Are you familiar with that?
No.
It's a game engine, I think, created on Itch.io. It's definitely something you can download on Itch.io and use on Itch.io. But it's a very simple game engine that lets you make these Atari 2600-esque games with very simple graphics, limited color, very limited gameplay. It basically amounts to you moving a sprite 2D on a plane of sprites as your map.
Okay.
And you can talk to things, and that's your lot with this Bitsy engine. So because of that, this potato game, there isn't a whole lot to it. You kind of walk around the level, you talk to what I think are grocery store aisles, and they tell you words that rhyme, just random words that rhyme, and at the end you get a potato. So it did have to do with potatoes, and it was only submitted to this jam, so it gets the 2 Sonic thumbs up.
Nice, nice.
And so now I will announce my winner. I know you have a winner on your end,
Sure.
but I'll just go first to close this document I have open.
Okay.
So to me, the winner is the Irish potato, which, if y'all have already forgotten, it's the one where you're a potato moving with arrow keys, dodging water. And I award it that because it was a game, even though that wasn't a rule that it had to be a game. It was still nice that it was a game. It had to do with potato. It was a potato-only jam game, and I honestly had a little fun with it. It's kind of challenging to navigate around the sprouts and dodge the water.
Mhm.
So big ups, the real Jesus. You win in my eyes.
Nice.
Yeah, give it up for the real Jesus. Yeah, bro. Yeah, Irish
Yeah, let's hear
potato. Yeah.
Gotta give it up.
Blow my little party thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, I'd say maybe a close second was Potato Man in Potato Land, but it was submitted to too many jams, so your fault, not mine.
Okay.
But what was the winner in your eyes? I'm
All right.
curious.
Well, I only checked out a few. And the ones that I checked out were the ones that were obviously about potatoes, that had like potatoes on their images, on their thumbnails on Itch.io.
Mhm.
I did check out Do You Want the Potato, the PowerPoint, but I did not look at it because it was a PowerPoint and I don't have PowerPoint.
Yeah.
So that one was excluded from my running, although I will say that's a cool idea. And I also downloaded Potato Conversion Simulator, but I did not open it because it was a Flash and I didn't feel like opening a Flash file. So, but that sounds like a cool idea too. So those are, just, they're not like bad, but they're not in my consideration.
Mm-hmm.
My top 3. Number 3 is Lord Potato, even though it's not a game. It was pretty cool looking animation,
Yeah.
screensaver kind of thing. And so yeah, it was pretty cool. And number 2, narrowly missing the top spot, was Mr. Potato in Potato Land.
Mhm.
I like the concept. I liked how it was about potatoes. I did not like how it blew out my ears when I started it. And I also did not like how I couldn't close the game by pressing escape. I had to Alt F4. So,
Nice.
but other than that, it was fine. So, Crazy Duck Games gets second place. Number 1 to me will go to Catch Potatoes, even though I will agree with you that the hitbox on the barrel was, or the bucket or whatever it was, it's
Mhm.
a little weird. But I like the concept, and it was just a simple idea executed not well, but pretty okay. And I liked the honest image on Itch.io, where it's just an image that says no image and a frowny face.
Yeah, that is pretty good thumbnail.
Yeah, so that's my winner right there.
Yeah. If it did have better physics or whatever you want to call it, collisions, and it had some sound and some music, I'd play it unironically because I
Sure.
really do like Game & Watch games.
Yeah.
But that's funny. We both have Mr. Potato and Potato Land as number 2.
Yeah. 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 It's not bad.
Yeah. Well, that's good. You only checked out the potato-related ones.
Yeah.
Shame on all those other people whose games had nothing to do with potatoes.
Yeah.
And is it any surprise that those were the ones that typically submitted to more than one jam?
I don't think so.
I don't think so, bruh. Y'all get tater tots of shame, but that one dude gets the potato of shame.
Yeah.
A tater tot of shame. That's like one of those weird tater tots you get at the grocery store, but I think they call them tater rounds or something, and it's like a third of a tater tot.
Yeah, it's just a little sliver.
Yeah, it's like a
Of a
tater
tater.
tot coin or something.
Yeah.
Y'all get tater rounds of shame. Holy shit. Yeah. God damn. Well, I'll be rating my game later on after the stream, and hope you do the same, and we'll see
Oh.
who ultimately wins.
Okay. All right. We'll see.
Or maybe I'll rate all the ones that had to do with potatoes
Okay.
and just go through those.
Okay.
But that is potato, bro. Who gives a
Yeah.
shit?
There you go.
I wonder what will be next for the creator of the jam, Mr. Gurpreet Matharu.
Mhm.
You weird motherfucker with your 2-year jam, bro. What? Are you kidding me? Are you crazy?
He's crazy, but he's a genius.
Damn, we should have submitted something, bro. Damn.
Yeah, true.
Bro, there should have been 200 entries, not 20. That is... Y'all were slacking off on the potato. But I am curious about those 4 games that disappeared on us and what potato secrets they held.
Yeah. It seems like we might never know on the damn shame.
Yeah, one of them could have been the potato or the Mass Effect of potato games, and we never knew.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Well, I think that concludes the first episode of Indie Hunters Headlines. Good lord, that was an hour. Holy shit. Our news special. There you go.
There you go.
Okay, I didn't imagine it taking an hour, but fuck, we're done. We're out of here. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Take that shit and get out of here.
Yeah.
So, we'll do this again if I find another couple headlines that are worthy of reporting to the Indie Hunters world.
Mhm.
So I don't know when the next one will be, but you know it's going to be on this channel. So you should follow and or subscribe and or follow me on Twitter and or whatever.
There you go.